Hey everyone, I'm Bitter Steve, and welcome to my semi-definitive guide to milk clarification, one of my absolute favorite cocktail techniques. I found after years of trial and error, a way that produces excellent results again and again with a simple rig and no ridiculous extras. Let's get started. Let's go over the equipment. The only piece of equipment I specifically hunted down for this, that didn't already exist in my kitchen, are these 4-liter, 4-quart, restaurant-grade food storage containers. I picked these up at Smart & Final, a warehouse-style food and supply store. I'm sure you have a similar store near you, or maybe look online. It came in a pack of 3, and the minimum for this to work well is 4. And it's always nice to have extras around just in case. On 2 of these, I used a Dremel to saw the bottoms off. I basically cut these in half by volume, right above the 2-liter mark. You also need nut milk bags. I buy these in a 3-pack. This isn't necessarily an endorsement, but the only other brand I bought didn't work right. I also have a sieve and a coffee filter, though this is for convenience, but isn't always necessary. Now, there are many ways to clarify other than milk, and here's the thing. Many of them use this exact same equipment, and I've already got milk in my fridge, so I don't need to buy rennet, or agar-agar, or a centrifuge, or coconut milk, which doesn't work as well as cow's milk anyway. I did figure that out though, and perfect coconut milk clarification is coming in a future video. So I'm going to use a classic fish house punch from the memoirs of the Schuylkill Fishing Club. Schuylkill Fishing Club. Circa 1795 via the book Punch by David Wondrich. Well, let's not use this recipe. I've come up with a modern version. We all know what an oleo saccharum is. We're taking the peels of 3 lemons, mixing it with 3/4 cup of sugar, and just letting it sit. Look at the difference after about 8 hours. The sugar has drawn all of the oil out of the lemon peel, creating an amazing zesty syrup. Add in 3/4 cup of strained lemon juice and dry shake to create a lemon essential syrup. I know this is supposed to be called a lemon oleo saccharum cordial syrup, but I'm simplifying it to essential syrup. That's what this means now. The citrus, and technically the citric acid, is the catalyst for the clarification process. You need to bring down the pH level to denature the milk proteins, and this process is accelerated with both heat and tannins. Here's the deal. Heating any of this adds more equipment and time and effort without any reasonable change in the results. We're fine without the heat, but the tannins are already part of the punch. It's the tea. Now, tea is essential in punch. It adds flavor and yet also waters down the alcohol, so you can sip all day without drinking too much. Originally, I said 2 cups of tea, but the milk is going to add some volume to the punch, so I'm switching this to 1 cup of double-strength tea. This gives us the necessary tannins, and we won't be diluting it from the original recipe. We also need to talk about the rum. This calls for 2 cups of Jamaican rum, and if you're using Appleton, that's fine, just use it. But if you want to use a rum with actual funk, like a real Jamaican rum, that will change the flavor of your punch, but not always in a good way. The clarification process removes phenols. The simple version? The color and flavor of the punch. But remember, real Jamaican rum is flavored with esters. The wild yeast from Worthy Park and the Dunderpit from Hampton creates a different type of flavor compound which doesn't get removed in this process. If you use 2 cups of a high ester Hampton rum, your clarified punch will taste like tar. I want some of that, but not all of that. I settled on a 1/2 cup of Smith & Cross, a 1/2 cup of Hamilton Blonde, and 1 cup of Appleton Signature. This will accentuate the banana notes from the Worthy Park without too many other esters overwhelming the flavor of the punch. I know that the original version of peach brandy is deep and exotic, but that won't really survive the process, and I just want some of the peach flavor to come through. So don't go out of your way to find something historically accurate. The cheap stuff will do, and I'm using a peach liqueur because I just want that peach flavor. So I was opening up this brand new bottle, I don't know what happened, and now my finger's bleeding. Please learn to make good fake corks. This is stupid. Timing is important for this, and there are 4 specific steps, each one taking a significant amount of time. Making the oleo, lagering the punch, denaturing, and the clarification. Lagering is just batching all the ingredients together and throwing it in the fridge overnight. I'll talk more about this later. Now we're making enough for a small get-together, and if your plans are on Saturday night, start the oleo Thursday morning, lager overnight, and clarify Friday. I've had the clarification process take anywhere from 8 to 24 hours, and this leaves plenty of time before Saturday to finish up. Once clarified, this can sit in the fridge for weeks. If you've got more people showing up and need more punch, don't double the recipe. The nut milk bag dictates the amount you can clarify. Start a second batch on Wednesday, and to triple, start a third batch on Tuesday. And you're just rotating through the process. Tuesday you make the oleo, batch and lager it. Wednesday you clarify and start another oleo sacrament. All this gets added together and we're gonna throw it into the fridge overnight. Why? This is lagering, a term usually reserved for beer. It's just cold storage, which causes flocculation. Small particles mass together out of solution and sink to the bottom. This starts the clarification process and gives the milk the ability to work on all the smaller particles. It's clarification day. It's hard to see, but some sediment has already flocculated out of our punch, which takes some of the pressure off the milk. And now it's time to denature these proteins. Remember that milk clarification requires a 4-to-1 ratio of punch to milk. I've got 1.5 cups of milk in this jug, and we're gonna pour the lagered punch into the milk. Is this important? Very. This process causes the milk proteins to denature, or unwind and unfold. These unfolded proteins are then able to grab onto all those phenols, pulling all that color out and holding onto it as curds. If you pour the milk into the punch, the pH drops too quickly, making it curdle immediately without binding to all those phenols. This sits for 1 hour. Don't touch it at all. In the meantime, let's build our clarification rig. This starts simple. Take 1 bucket and 1 half bucket. The half bucket is going to hold the nut milk bag. This is important. Look for the seam on the bag and make sure it faces down. This process creates a sludge that can be hard to clean out of the little crevices in the seam. Just save yourself the time and effort. Also, check to make sure that this can fit in your fridge. If the process runs too slow, I prefer to put it in the fridge overnight. It is milk after all. Also, use your lids. This can attract fruit flies. 1 hour has gone by, and you can already see the clarified punch separating out. So let's just pour it in. We're only a few minutes into this, and the first part has a lot of this powdery sediment. A lot of recipes want you to run this process thoroughly 3 or 4 or 5 times. Each pass-through increases the time exponentially, and I want to do this in 2 runs, 3 max. Now if I let this run all the way through and then pour it right back in, what happens? Well, that stirs up all this milk curd again and causes more of the sediment to get through. My goal is to pour this through without disturbing it at all. Now this part may be overkill, but it works. Take a second half bucket with a nut milk bag attached, throw it right on top, and put on a strainer and a coffee filter. The first part with the sediment goes right back in. And I'm gonna wait another hour, switch this back to this other bucket, and then pour everything back through again. The whole point of this upper part of the rig is to slow the pour so that we don't kick up more of the sediment. And this should save us from running it through multiple times. This is why I want you to start the clarification a day ahead of time. This is still the first run through. It's been a little more than an hour and we're halfway finished. Problem is, this is slowed to a crawl. The punch is just dripping out. I'm gonna take the top half of the nut milk bag, switch it to a clean bucket, and throw it in the fridge. It will be done tomorrow morning, and this is just about as clear as we're gonna get it. So I'll bottle this and wait for the rest. No need for a second run through. Wow, that is clear. So this was all finished in the morning, essentially one run through, well, 1.5, and the results are spectacular. I could send this through a few more times and lose a little more of this color, but I'd also lose a lot more of the flavor, which I don't want to do. Speaking of, let's check this out. I think this is the perfect blend of rum, where just enough of that funk makes it through without overwhelming it. The peach comes through nicely, the citrus is fairly subdued, it's just so pleasant. I hope this helps, because clarification isn't that complicated, and there's a lot of information to sift through. There may be better ways, better equipment setups, but this just works. Works for me, and I hope it works for you. Any questions? Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video.